Hey good people, this is the twist/TWAB for 2/15/2024 and it's a lot of info y'all, so bear with me with the reading and let's get right up into it. Alright, here we go. So if you didn't know, they got the Mass Effect crossover going down right now in Destiny 2. Don't forget to go to Eververse, I told you on a different video, and claim your free ship Sparrow and Ghost. Go do that. Now, let's keep it going because there's so much to get through. So we got Sandbox updates coming on March 5th in the update. Now, let's start with abilities. Y'all ready? Here we go. Ensnaring Slam, they're going to reduce class ability regeneration penalty duration by 50% in PvE activities. For Threaded Spectre, is now going to apply the same class ability regeneration penalty used by Ensnaring Slam when the player creates a Threaded Spectre. They're going to increase Threaded Spectre detonation damage by 25% versus PvE enemies. So other than that last part, think of the rest as buffs, right? Okay, now moving on. The Redlings. The Redlings are getting definitely toned down. So they're going to increase the aim assist shape size. Basically, they're making Threadlings easier to shoot. They're going to reduce base damage versus enemy players from 40 to 35. And with Thread of Evolution equipped, reduce versus enemy players the damage from 45 to 38.5. And they're going to fix an issue with groups of Threadlings with not reliably chain detonating and where they used to just blip out of existence. Alright, now let's talk about some buffs. Arcane Needle, increase aim assist angle by about 50%. Just going to make it better with the tracking from the beginning. They're going to increase aim assist fall off distance from 30 to 45 meters, which means it can track for better distance. They're going to increase tracking angular velocity by about 5%. That's how you can make turns. And then they're going to increase the length of the projectile's tracking shape and the shape in front of the projectile that it uses to find targets. That, just think about it as it makes it better and easier to track. And they're going to fix an issue where the player appeared to freeze in the melee pose when using this sometimes. Now moving over, we got Restoration and Radiant updates. Alright, they fixed an issue where the maximum duration of Restoration and Radiant buffs was being incorrectly stored. This also resolves similar issues with shorter restoration sources like sunspots. Now for Ember of Mercy, it's going to extend your current restoration duration by 2 seconds when a fire sprite is collected. If you don't already have a restoration active, collecting a fire sprite grants restoration with a 2-second duration. Alright, now let's talk about Ember of Mercy. This is now going to extend your current restoration time by 2 seconds when a fire sprite is collected. If you don't already have restoration active, collecting a fire sprite grants restoration with a 2-second duration. This restoration extension is increased to 3 seconds while Ember of Solace is equipped. Now Ember of Empyrean, they're going to increase the maximum duration extension from 12 to 15 seconds. And the duration extension is going to vary based on the tier or strength of the enemy that you kill. So you get more time added on for stronger enemies like champions and stuff. Alright, now let's talk about solar ability buffs. For my titans out there, Consecration, they're going to increase the travel distance from the initial ground follow. That's the fire that goes on the ground, and that's going from 18 to 20 meters. They're going to increase the height of the slam ground follow detonation by 1 meter, so just 1 meter higher. They're going to increase the travel distance of the slam ground follow from 16 to 20 meters. That's pretty good. And they're going to increase the travel speed of the slam ground follow from 16 to 24 meters per second. And now for Gunpowder Gamble for my hunters, they're gonna reduce the maximum self-damage from 144 to 80. So hopefully y'all stop kabooming yourselves. You know, I'm not judging. All right, y'all. Now let's move on to the Weapon Sandbox. So they're gonna correct an issue that was causing heavy burst hand cannons that have 25% less aim assist than other hand cannons from hip firing when on mouse and keyboard. Bows, they're gonna get less or reduce aim fall off distance from start to end by 15%. So just think about it like this. All the changes they're doing, bows will be less effective at long ranges. All right, now in the auto rifle category, Breakneck is getting target lock added to the second trait column. And then for lightweight scout rifles, they're gonna increase base damage by 5%. Sniper rifles are gonna get their aim cone size reduced by 10%. So they're not gonna be as sticky. They're getting nerfed. And rocket launchers, precision specifically, they're gonna increase reserve ammo by 2 and reduce damage penalty from -10% to -5. High impact rocket launchers, they're gonna increase reserve ammo by 2. And it now deals more detonation damage and less impact, but still basically the same amount of damage as a whole. Now the above changes also are going to take place on Deathbringer, Galley, and Truth. Just keep that in mind. Alright, heavy grenade launchers. They're going to get increased reserve ammo by a minimum of 6 rounds. Maximum 10 rounds depending on the grenade launcher. They're going to reduce spike grenades impact buff from 50, listen y'all, from 50% to 12.5. That's a big nerf for spike grenades, okay? They're going to increase direct hit damage in general by 10%, and they're going to increase detonation damage in general by 5%. That's going to take some of that sting off the spike grenades, but still a big nerf for that. All right, now waveframe heavy grenade launchers are getting 20% more damage and 40% more wave width. That's going to be a wider wave. Now caster swords are getting reduced heavy attack energy cost from 5 to 4, and the heavy attack damage is going to be increased by a nice little 16%. Exotics, all right, exotics getting tuned up a little bit. Vigilance Wing now has a deterministic recoil pattern, so you know how it's going to shoot every time. Wishender, True Sight or Wallhacks, aka, will now deactivate if you leave ADS on or hold it for longer than 3 seconds. To reactivate, you must fully redraw the bow. So your wall hacks are going away if you get out of ADS or you hold it for longer than 3 seconds. Edge of action. Alright, increase the damage resistance in PvE against all enemies except bosses to 85% and increase the damage resistance against bosses to 15%. Manticore. Y'all remember Manticore? The freaking floaty little SMG? Alright, it's getting tweaked up. Players must now be airborne for 0.5 seconds and deal damage with the weapon to activate the perk. We gave it a special reload so that you can quickly disengage from anti-gravity thrusters. Antaraba is going to get the same reload. And while anti-grav thrusters are engaged, combatants will be less accurate when targeting the player. That means you are harder to hit. And with the catalyst, final blows and sustained damage with Manticore while airborne grant a void overshield and return ammo to the mag. Alright, then we got X-Divers. Remember the grenade launcher with the mobs? Increase impact damage against PvE enemies by 50%. Increase the maximum rate of fire by 17%. And more perks. Y'all want more perks? Look, y'all. Look, I'm doing the best I can with the material I'm giving, alright? Look how much more you would have to read if I didn't do this. Alright, heal clip. now grants cure ×2 to the player, while granting cure ×1 to nearby homies. Trench Barrel can now be activated by dealing damage with ranged melees. That's pretty nice. Barrel Constrictor. Once activated, it no longer deactivates upon firing a shot. It lasts 7.5 seconds, and it buffs all shots fired during that time. An Enhanced Barrel Constrictor lasts 1 second more. Loose Change. Applying a subclass 3.0 buff now grants plus 20 aim assist stat and 20% reduced ADS movement speed penalty, in addition to the existing plus 50 reload stat. Applying another debuff now refreshes the duration too. For dual loader, remember load 2 shells at once or 2 bullets? They're removing the speed penalty. It's going to be 2 bullets for the same reload time. Alright, now let's go on to traits and stuff. Alright, Text Balance Stock is now going to grant plus 20 range and a 1.5 degree hipfire precision cone angle, in addition to its other effects. So hipfire is going to be better, more range. Hake Breach Armaments Deconstruct and Sundering will now work against Void Souls, Strand Clones, Cabal Projection Shields, and Briggs. Yep. Hake Breach Armaments. Damage bonus versus Stasis Crystal is going down from 85% to 60% to match the other constructs. Sundering can now trigger on shield break in addition to final blows on vehicles and constructs. And then hatchlings. Let's move on to hatchlings. The perk will trigger with either a precision kill or 3 non-precision kills. So we're talking about the hatchling perk. Alright, target lock. Check this out, y'all. Now activates later in the magazine for SMG specifically at 20% versus the 12.5% that it does right now. So SMG's getting a little nerf if they got target lock on them. Alright, for Envious Assassin, each activation is now capped at 100% of magazine size instead of 150%. And the magazine overflow is now 3 times the magazine size instead of 4 times. Alright, this one's gonna hurt some people, especially for Apex Predator and everything like that. Bait and Switch. Reduce damage bonus from 35% to 30. Only 5, but it's still a nerf. Alright, 1-2 punch. Now it's gonna correctly deactivate after dealing damage with a powered melee. Deconstruct. Fix the bug preventing the perk from triggering when shooting an enemy Titan barricade. Alright, moving on. That's a lot. Good lordy, y'all. Y'all tired of hearing it? Imagine me saying it. Moving on, okay? We got some info from the PvP strike team. Yep, the PvP strike team. I didn't even think they were a thing anymore since Bungie did Bungie. But yeah, pay attention, y'all. This is a lot of stuff. Alright, now keep in mind before I get into this, these changes are not applied to Mayhem, Momentum, and Checkmate. Alright, not. There's gonna be pretty much everything else. This is gonna be a hot one, alright? It's gonna get spicy. Alright, player health will be increased by 30 HP in base Crucible and 116 to 130 shield depending on the player's resilience value. Yes, our health is going up. Alright, melee grenade and class ability cooldowns now have a 15% penalty applied to them in Crucible only. Super cooldowns now have a 20% penalty applied to them in Crucible only. Supers, they're going to increase the base super damage by 31%. Melees, increasing base melee damage by 16%. Then the arc flux grenade damage is going up by 16%. Alright, now we're getting into weapons. Pulse rifles, auto rifles, sidearms, and scout rifles increased crit damage by 14%. Hand cannons increase critical hit damage by 10%. Reduce body shot damage by 5%. And reduce flinch dealt to players by projectile impact by 12.5% and by explosive payload by 10%. Submachine guns increased critical hit damage by 12.5%. Reduced body shot damage by 3%. Bows reduce base damage by 15%. Oh, I know it's a lot. All right, y'all wanna hear this? Okay, I really want to hear how y'all feeling about this, because I was getting a little hot reading some of this, and I'll let y'all guess what. But here we go into special ammo changes. You will start every game, you heard, every game with 2 kills worth of special ammo for your chosen weapon. Instead of 2 kills worth of special ammo being given to you every time you respawn, you will earn more ammo by filling up a special ammo meter. Yes. With points given for getting kills, assists, or completing objectives. Getting 100 points grants you 2 kills worth of special ammo for your chosen weapons. All right, a lot of numbers here. I'm just gonna give you the base Crucible values, and then on screen, if you want to check out elimination, 3v3, rumble, and countdown, all those specific numbers look on screen, okay? But the base point values: for a kill, you get 23 points. For an assist or death, you get 10 points. For capping the control zone, you get 14 points. And just for picking up heavy ammo, you get 8 points. 8 points. All right, it's a little different for everything else. I really want to know how y'all feel about this. Okay, general notes. Here's some more general notes on changes. Kills from special ammo weapons and heavy ammo weapons do not grant any points towards special ammo meter progress. Jumping off the map will subtract progress from the special ammo meter. Ammo is not dropped on death, and you will not lose the special ammo you have earned when you are killed or revived. Earned special ammo will carry over to another round. Swapping from double primary weapons to a special ammo weapon will reset your ammo meter progress. So yes, you heard that right. You get killed, don't worry, you keep your ammo. All right, you go into the next round, don't worry, they'll keep their ammo. All right, trace rifles, shotguns, and fusion rifles increase base damage by 20%. Glaives increase projectile damage by 20% and melee damage by 16%. Heavy grenade launchers, reducing detonation damage by 5%, and for machine guns, increasing base damage by 20%. All right, for exotics, fighting line, they're going to decrease damage versus players in Crucible by 20%. Devil's Ruin, decrease charge beam damage against players by 15%. For Crimson, reduce flinch dealt to players by 17.5%. Forerunner, increased damage versus players in Crucible by 20%. Ooh. Symmetry, increased revolution damage versus players in Crucible by 16%. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? All right, so just think about all those changes, y'all, and I really want to hear your opinions in the comments. All right, think about all of those changes. I know some of y'all are like, I'm so glad I never played PvP. I can hear it now. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that to y'all. I just want to hear how y'all feel. I'm gonna keep going, okay? Happy Lunar New Year to those people who celebrated. If you want this beautiful emblem right here, I will put the video on how to get this emblem for completely free at the end of the video, all right? Keep in mind, this stuff is in the store if you want to buy it right here. You know, this stuff right here. And the next Trials map is going to be Dead Cliffs, because that's what people voted on from last week. And here's a big news. Here's some big news for my people who need to get caught up and buy DLC for Destiny on Steam, okay? There is a humble bundle going on where you can get the DLC all the way up to Light 4 crazy cheap compared to the regular price. All right, how do you do it? There is a link. Go to Humble Bundle, right? And you pay in tiers based on how much you pay, you know, for each tier, up to $40 for the max tier, which will get you everything, including the Forsaken Pack, Shadow Key, Beyond Light, 30th Anniversary Pack, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and the Annual Pass, which is the Ghost of Deep Dungeon, Warlord's Ruin Dungeon, and the 4 Seasons launch in 2023. Okay, all of that for $40 if you want it, if you need it. And you can get less in different tiers from paying less. So if y'all need that, you want to jump in, try it out, see how it goes. I hope this helps. Go get it. All right. And now, on top of that, 5% of all those proceeds will go directly to the Bungie Foundations, which is a good cause. That's the cheapest I've ever seen them do something like this. All right. Now, that is pretty much everything, y'all. Please tell me how you feel about all of this information. I'm sorry this one was so long, but what could I do? Not my fault. Imagine how long it would have been if you had to read it all yourself. See, y'all better appreciate me. All right, please hit me with a subscribe, a like, and those comments. Don't forget the comments for the algorithm. Thanks, y'all. I'm out.